Welcome back to Wickerson Studios. I'm going to try something new here just to see what kind of community I've actually created online by starting a ghPython Facebook group. So I'm putting this out there as a challenge to anybody who can help me. I thought that might be interesting. You can see here I'm basically trying to get through this Boolean indexing to filter two-dimensional arrays example. Let me just break it down to what it is. It's pretty simple. I've got everything should be working here, so I'll just let you see that. The import brought in everything that was usually working. I'm using the remote ghPython remote node, and I scripted this information. It's basically number of viewers to these ghPython, these Facebook groups that I've created: ghPython, C#, Generative, Scratching, Touch Designer, Backyard, and the members that are associated with those. So this is all working. It's all coming up, so I can actually print that. And you can see that I get everything in here. I still don't understand the U's and the L's that are popping in here because they're not popping into the example book on ONELINERS. But basically, I want to use a one-liner here that's to use the best groups will be found by getting into here and finding astype float, because these are integers and these are strings. So I want to convert it all over to astype. That's not working. Up until now, I'd been using this system of NumPy arrays to do data type, changing the integer, changing the string. So you can see here as I X this out. This is a challenge to people to help me. As I X that out and go, you can see that goes back to an integer value. If I bring that back, X gets updated to a string value. That's the way I'm changing data types. But of course, those are just one data type switching over to another data type. And the example that was in the, I think you have to set X equal to, this is probably where it is. If I put down X equal to data type int, that should push it back over to integer, but I'm not sure. No, I have an error, and it's not reading. It's not doing it. It's not, something's happening. It's not callable. And that's really frustrating me with this right here, because that array seems simple enough that I should be able to push it back in to maybe because it's a string. I'm not sure. This is not really the problem I'm dealing with, but I figure if I can solve the problem simpler, then I could solve the problem harder down the line. But I'm going to X this out and show you that this just isn't working. I can't get the as type to work. I can't even get the dx type to work if it's not added on to the NumPy. This might have something to do with working in ghPython remote. That's what I'm thinking is the issue. But up here, I'm just not able to use the as type float. And I'd like anybody out there to kind of jump on here. And as I process this, as you can see, I can make it work. Here's how I make it work. I'll comment out this line, and I'll bring this one back in by uncommenting this one, which is funny to uncomment out comments, but I've gotten into the practice of doing this. And then I should be able to, let me uncomment off this, and basically I should be able to print it, and there we go. Now it's all numbers. So when it's all numbers, I can run this, and it should run fine. And let me get off that last bit of stuff because that's just causing problems. Let me hack this out of here because I'm trying to solve with a smaller equation after. So if I do this and then I do the best results, you're going to see that that works. And there it is. So as the income goes above a certain amount, because we're looking at this data, like if income's really low, then all groups are involved, of course, but they're number groups. They're not the names I want. And I don't want to enumerate these numbers into these things. I want to be able to use the astype function to bring all these floats and integers or whatever, strings, back into one type. And I can't do it. And it's quite frustrating. So I'm going to leave it out there, and I'm going to use my own forum to see if anybody can solve this and help me out. I think it might get some dialogue happening on our pages, let people realize the level of where I'm at is not that high up. I'm just eager to bring a community together so we can solve problems together. So I'm going to throw it out there and show you this file. Of course, you won't be able to make it yourself if you're not up to speed when it comes to using importing the ghPython remote node to get it running. And I hate to have a red one here. I hate to have a caution. Like, I hate to skip an exercise because you can't fix it. Keep in mind that this is not a ghPython Grasshopper node book. This is just one-liners for Python. So even though it may work in another framework, I guess that's what I could go back and do and just open it in idle and open it in whatever, Visual Studio, and it might work fine. I can't get it to work in these ghPython nodes. And that's frustrating to me, but maybe nobody else is working on it, so that's why I'm throwing it out to this community and saying, error, Boolean index, help me out if you can. Michael Wickerson, Wickerson Studios, let's see what kind of group we have together. And if you do, then I'll give you all the repositories on my GitHub for the first tier. So you'd be an honorary member if you can solve that. That'd be great. All right, that'll be my little gift to you. It's worth $3 a month, so that's pretty fun. All right, thanks very much. Bye.